What's up, everybody? My name is Alexander Gaston. Welcome to Nerd Out, a show where I get to sit around with some people that I've met and just have amazing conversations. Why? Because I want to. And my guest today is Tallsquall. Welcome to the show.
Hey,
Thank you so much for being here. So Tallsquall, talk to me. What are we nerding out about today?
We're going to nerd about some little project or thing that's grown throughout the Twitter community here in the D&D community, which is D&D Fitness, hashtag D&D Fitness.
Oh, perfect. I've heard about this. And one of the reasons I started to hear about this is that I, too, was getting back into fitness. Mm-hmm. And I was back in school, and I was kind of just looking for a way to rein in my ADHD, try to level my head, be able to focus on school. Being back as an adult, it's been a little bit difficult. And I don't even know how it popped up. I have a feeling it may have been Rob Shoemaker, it may have been you. And it was just so cool to start to see these people that maybe in a community that might be known for not being fit, getting back into fitness and having it be such a great community.
Yeah, no, it has been amazing to sort of watch it grow. It started, golly, I guess almost a year and a half ago, where sort of feeling that same thing. I'd had a lot of people sort of talking about it. It was about the time when Travis and the gang did Jox Machina on a Critical Role. And it seemed like there was a little bit of a need, and a couple people had sort of DM'd me or asked me about getting back into fitness. And I'd sent them messages, and then I was like, let's just try to get some folks engaged by making it fun because we're all gamers. And so it started off of me doing, I think I did D&D Fitness Friday Challenge or something along those lines, trying to make up a hashtag, where it was, we did magic missile push-ups. Roll the dice like you're rolling a first level magic missile.
Okay.
And the numbers that come up on it, do that many push-ups over the course of the day. Even if you can't do the full set of them that you've rolled up, try to at least do them over the course of the day. You can do them in multiple different ways. I linked some articles about good form and that sort of stuff. And the response was amazing. I got these videos from all over the place. People were like, I'm doing push-ups in the airport. I had someone send me a video of that. Other people who were like, they're next to their D&D setup or with their group. And I was just like, wow, this is really crazy. So, I started doing these challenges for a while just to sort of get people up and moving, and more and more people, it just sort of started spreading across a bigger group of people. So that sort of was the initial seed of things, and then it's grown into something even bigger and different from there.
It was definitely interesting because growing up in school, I have a feeling that a lot of people that I knew didn't really know where to put me.
Right.
Because I was the jock. I was in swimming, I was in tennis, I was in varsity. And I was in ROTC, and so I had that clique as well. But then I was also in marching band with the big plumes, and I always was wearing weird superhero dress belt buckles, and so nobody really knew what it was. And so when you're talking about Travis Willingham and Joe Manganiello coming on and wearing the Jox Machina shirt, it was this amazing meeting of these what was considered two completely different hemispheres, where you either were this or you were this. And that's kind of where the show has come out, where it's like we're not either or. Yeah. We all have a passion about something. And so being able to see the Jox Machina and getting back into fit and seeing the response with D&D Fitness it was so cool. And it really helps to have that community. Mm-hmm. And it also helps to have that kind of fun to it. Because for some people, probably for a lot of people, working out isn't necessarily fun. Right. It could be very boring, especially if you're doing it by yourself. And just to call back, just to let people know, Magic Missile, first level spell, is how many D4s?
So it is 3D4, yes? 3D4 plus 1.
3D4 plus 1. So if you're wanting to do Magic Missile push-ups, it's 3 4-sided dice, add 1.
There you go.
But do what you can. And pray you roll at once.
There you go. Yeah, it's when you want to roll low. Or maybe you might want to roll high. It's interesting you say that though. One of my big messages with D&D Fitness is, it's never too late. I never worked out ever until I was about 32, 33. Was very skinny, was the nerd in school, was, sort of never really had a social group, was, if I could get away with, walking the fence at PE instead of playing the other stuff, that was me, or being in South Georgia at the time, we could work on our homework.
Right.
If it was a really hot day, we were able to do that during PE, and that was me. The way I sort of fell into fitness was when I was doing some work over in Japan, and this is back. So people might not be able to relate to this, but it was back in '99. I had a work laptop which I could not use on the internet because internet bad.
6 hours.
It was not anything that you were able to use other than for work, like in conference room meetings, things like that. And in this hotel I was staying at in Japan, even though it was a big chain hotel, had all the stations in Japanese except CNN International on a 30-minute loop. However, because of its location, they had like the equivalent of like a Gold's Gym that was attached to the hotel, because it was similar to some of the hotels that you see in big cities that are kind of a part of a mall system or whatever. And it was free with the room level that my company had gotten me to be able to use the gym. And so I literally had nothing better to do. I was bored to tears. You can only watch CNN on loop. You can only read so many books after a while.
Right.
And I was alone over there, and it was just sort of like, and there was always this sort of in the back of my mind there where I wanted to be more fit and wanted to feel better about myself. And went down there, and luckily the Japanese diet is very conductive. To think. I mean, I basically was eating fish and rice and wonderful things all day long on a very regimented schedule. And I mean, I gained basically like 20 pounds of lean mass over the course of 18 months of working in Japan. I mean, I had people who didn't even came back, didn't know who I was. I went over there sort of geek with geek gut, a little extra weight right around the middle, nowhere else, to coming back pretty fit. And people are like, what happened? But that was at 30. So my whole thing is, don't think, oh, I missed it. If I wasn't athletic in high school or whatever, it's too late. I mean, I'm 47 now. We just did a thing of like the Through the Decades on Twitter, and the pictures that people are like, wow, they're from my 40s. My 20s, are not great fitness shots. Even in the 30s, it was not. I was just kind of discovering things. So don't think it's passed you by.
Right. Or that it can't come back.
Right.
Because for me, when I was in high school, peak fitness. I was in 2 different sports, and I was in ROTC with all the PTing that we had to do for that, and the mock PT tests that we had to go through. And then when we had to do gym, I was like, well, why not? I'll go and I'll take the weightlifting class with all the dude bros on the field, and matched up my size with somebody your size.
Yeah.
And I remember my coach just thought it was the funniest thing that the smallest person in the class matches up with the biggest person in the class.
Yeah.
But when college or when high school was over and you enter into college, like freshman 15 is real.
It's a real thing.
It was backwards. It was I lost weight because I lost the muscle.
Right.
And I kind of became a little bit more sluggish, and it just followed me. And for the most part, I kept regulated because I was doing a job that was very labor intensive. Doing wait, I was a waiter. I was, working in some form of customer service that just caused me to run around like a chicken with my head cut off always. And so when I fell off of that and I gained 30 pounds, I felt miserable, and I hated it, and I felt so slow, and I didn't, and it really comes from like you sometimes just don't like the way you feel.
Right.
And you just don't feel comfortable. And so when I went back to being a waiter and I just dropped that poundage like out of nowhere,
right,
I was like wanting to keep that off, and then taking that leap, quitting my job and going back into college,
right,
wanted to keep improving that mindset. I was like, okay, I'm taking myself out of that toxic atmosphere.
Right.
I'm going back into school, which was really hard for somebody like me, and just looking for any way to just keep level. And when I found you and Rob, who are both D&D Fitness, it was just, I was like, oh my gosh, and to have those people cheer you on, it's so important.
Oh, yeah.
It's so amazing, and you guys really do get that fun aspect, because I always used to say that I was going to challenge Rob to a push-up challenge.
Oh, yeah.
That is not happening. I might be able to do like 7.
Hey, that's great.
So it's better than nothing.
I was going to say, right down the middle of the road, that magic missile.
That's like a decent amount of damage.
Decent amount of damage.
Yeah,
decent amount of damage. Respectable at first level. Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's a
absolutely.
goblin. That's easily a goblin.
Yeah, like a goblin and a half depends on like.
True. Yeah,
you know.
that might be like a goblin, like goblin chieftain or something.
Was it already injured?
Yeah, it already took an arrow to the knee.
So what are some? So one of the things that I saw the other day was a floor or table full of potato chips.
Yes.
So talk to me about that.
Okay, so this is one of my tricks because I'm a big fan of Panera. I guess I can use a brand name on here. So,
I don't know why
yeah,
not.
So
Not sponsored by Panera.
yeah, not sponsored by Panera. But the big thing is, people would ask me questions because I'd take pictures of my salad or whatever, which I love over there. You can get extra chicken on it for protein intake. But they kept saying like, you ordered the chips. How is your fitness? Why are you taking a picture of the chips? The chips are exactly 150 calories.
Okay.
Because they're prepackaged. The other thing they give you is the person tears off a slice of bread. I've had them, a giant chunk of bread. I've had a tiny little chunk of bread. Sometimes really thick. Sometimes it's like you don't know. You don't know how many calories are in there.
And you're going to break your jaw ripping it off.
Well, you can break your jaw ripping it off, but the other thing, it's out. It's sitting there on the side of the plate. It is so easy to, I'm doing my Twitter, I've eaten my salad, and all of a sudden you've eaten a piece of bread even though you said, you weren't going to eat it.
Right.
The other one is like an apple, which is good as well. But, again, apples different sizes, and I'm not a huge apple fan. That just happens to be one of my things. But back to the chips. 150 calories, exactly 150 calories. They are sealed. And what I started doing was, I'd be like, you know what? I'm going to take them with me this time. I'll have them later. So you sort of make that deal with yourself. I'm not depriving myself of that. I'm going to have them later. I had set them on the counter. It came around the next morning. They were still sitting on the counter. I was like, you know what? I'm going to save that because that's 150 calories I saved yesterday.
Right.
And so then it sort of became this thing of, it was almost like my little hoard of calories that especially when I was trying to, get lean for some cosplays I was doing, or even for Gen Con. We did that whole Gen Con goal thing within
Right.
D&D Fitness. And thank you, Gen Con. And they, and so I was just sort of like, I'm going to gather these all together so people can sort of see how it works. And by the end of it, I had my big whole table worth of it, and it ended up being about 3,500 calories worth of chips I didn't eat. And which is, and how I was doing my diet, that's about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks worth of calorie deficit of what I was trying to do. And it's a nice, real kind of tangible attaboy or whatever at the end of your diet phase of going, no, that's actual real thing of where I would stayed on where I was good. Now, I can tell you there's days those chips got open, they got eaten. I can tell you there's days I got home at night and they didn't make it all the way into that bag. But as you sort of watch that, I had this Publix bag that your Publix, your bag, so you don't use the plastic one, and just slowly let it fill up. And as you kind of watch it fill up, you're like, I'm doing something. This is, even if it's this one positive thing, maybe I didn't make it to the gym that day, maybe whatever, but there's 150 calories that, I made it. So that's my little, it's almost like your little, it's my gold coin.
Yeah. And it's also so helpful to see something tangible.
Yeah.
Because I want to say that one of the things that I was starting to get so disheartened over, and why it's been so difficult to get back into working out, because I was going to the gym when I was 30 pounds heavier. Because I was like, I don't feel good. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be like this. Not that there was anything physically wrong with me. It's not like I felt like I looked bad. It's just I felt slow.
Yep.
And so I was going to the gym and I wasn't seeing anything, and it was so difficult, and you still get so disheartened when you look in the mirror and you feel as though nothing's changed.
Yep.
And so sometimes, you hop on the scale, and a lot of people don't understand that muscle does weigh more than fat.
Yep.
And so you might be burning fat, but you're also gaining muscle, so
Right.
you're not going to see that much weight change, or you might see weight gain.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I knew that because I knew the mechanics. I was in sports, and so I understand that. But not having anything to say, I did this.
Right.
And so for me, it was cutting things out, just like yours with their chips. It was, there's no longer cookies in my house.
Right.
There might be a bag of Oreos now in my house.
Yeah, it can happen.
It's been a rough few weeks. We no longer are buying multiple 12 packs of soda.
Yeah.
And so soda's been cut out, and
Yep.
it's more water in my diet, or you know, if I'm gonna treat myself, it's chocolate milk.
You're right.
Chocolate milk is always my go-to.
Hey, it's a good after workout drink.
Exactly, it's got good protein.
Yep.
And so it was seeing what was no longer in my house. And so for you, being able to have all of those potato chips, but now I'm curious, what are we going to do with these potato chips? And did you bring any with you?
Yeah, well, actually, we sort of pre-Gen Conned with a bunch of my friends. We had 7 of us down at a B&B Airbnb that we had gotten. And yeah, I brought down the chips, and you didn't have to buy bags of chips for people. It was just like, and especially the nice part for gaming, so you're not passing chips across the table and that sort of stuff. Everyone can have their own little bag of chips, So yes, I will say they didn't all get eaten, but yeah, for your next big gaming night, pass them out, for your friends. And even then, if it's however many people you have there, you're eating one of the 7 of those, and whatever. So, but no, yeah, I did not bring any chips with me. However, I will say, just con hint, I did bring. Actually, you saw me eating one this morning. I did bring little protein bars because it's so easy, especially at a convention. You're busy, whatever. Picking up that slice of pizza or whatever. Do yourself a couple favors, and come prepared. Go to the CVS if you can't. If you're flying light or anything like that. Most every convention has some sort of something close by. I think we picked those up at CVS so that we would have them at the room, and you could grab them instead of waiting to see the super loaded mac and cheese bake that just looked so good out of the food truck.
So good right now.
Yeah. So, cravings still occur.
Absolutely. But I, being an impulsive person, may or may not have like the Oreos were a thing.
Yeah.
I think leading up to everything and not being in school.
Yep.
So that means my schedule that's usually really, really hectic,
Yep.
and it really is nice to be able to have some time for myself to go and work out, is now like a lot more empty.
Yeah.
And so you don't feel like you want to wake up.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
like, well, what if we just didn't get out of bed?
Right.
And I just laid there for like another 7 or 8 hours.
Well, I think that, to me, that's where the sort of evolution of D&D fitness has become so helpful. I knew I couldn't, single-handedly, answer every D&D fitness tag or everything that was going, because it grew so rapidly. So I made a very conscious decision, probably, within a week or 2 of this, was like, hey, there's lots of people here at all different phases of their fitness life, from returning to it, from just starting, for being with it for years and years and years, from it always being a part of their life to never being part of their life, of, hey, just tag your story, tag what's going on, tag where your head's at with that D&D fitness tag, and that everyone as the whole community is there to help answer that. And I mean, there's been times where I've made the call where it's just like, I can't get myself to the gym tonight. I'm trying to drag there. Okay, what's everyone else doing? And you start seeing these come in at, either just the, hey, you can do it, or even the, hey, I'm already here doing this. It might be a gym across the world. I did my push-ups this morning. I did a CrossFit workout. I did my yoga. We've have sort of a little offshoot, which is D&D yoga, which has come out of the group for folks who are doing yoga. So it's a way to have people who you can relate to, who are also gamers, who can help you, get you out of the bed, do whatever. And while I personally might be at work, you were talking about Rob. Rob is great. Fernando is great. There's so many great folks out there. Rebecca, I think, is running a 5K. I believe she is trying to win the 5K for D&D Fitness this morning.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so that's exciting. So yeah, there's lots of people out there. Earthbreaker Groon is out there. I'm trying to drop some names out there because you guys are all so awesome. They're
so amazing.
Yeah.
And I've interacted with all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, Rob and Rebecca are just powerhouses
for
that. And whenever I'm feeling like completely useless, or I'm like, I'm not making enough progress, or I haven't been to the gym in weeks because just things have gotten hectic, or every time I go, it's or my trainer's no longer with me. Not like he's dead. He didn't die.
Right, yeah.
He's got a life,
right.
and I don't need to be a part of it.
Yeah.
So it was nice having that person to go with you.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
so when I was falling off and I was like, everyone's posting all these pictures, I'm like, I'm so proud of you. I am so terrible right now that the one thing that they always did was not like, get back to the gym. They're just like, hey, that's fine.
Yeah.
Just, get back when you can. Just know that we're all here for you. And, we see the progress that you've made and that we believe in you.
Yeah.
And having that community is just priceless.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think probably I'm a little selfish. One of the reasons I really wanted to be on here have you on here, is to essentially thank you for creating this amazing community that is so positive, so body positive, and so mentally positive, that there are just more arms of you that are just reaching out to just try and make somewhat of a positive difference. And so it's a little, I nerd out a little bit about you.
But no, I am. It is one of the things I would say. I've done lots of things in the D&D community with raising money for charities and stuff like that. But to have something that has so personally touched and helped so many people, I've gotten a lot of DMs about how it really turned around tough times in their life, or that it's now helping them deal with stress in their workplace that was very toxic, or just just feeling better about themselves, and that it's fitness and wellness comes in every size, in every story, at every age, and that you're not alone out there. And it's been pretty amazing to see how the community has grown so much larger than just me, or even sort of some of the people who've been there from the beginning. Every day it seems like I've got someone saying, "Hey, what's D&D Fitness?" And tag myself or the Shoemakers or any of those folks in there, and immediately, and then it's funny. I'll see other people who I might not have interacted personally with start jumping and go, "Oh no, it's this. This is how you do it. Just tell your story, tag it. If you need motivation, if you need inspiration, if you just have questions." It's been amazing, and seeing the change. I mean, it's going to be great tomorrow. I think we're all going to try to put on our shirts and be out and around, just to see everyone sort of say hi to each other.
I forgot my shirt.
And it happens.
I'll bring my guns though.
There you go. Bring your guns. It's very exciting, and it's been so fulfilling to see something that has been and had such a personal effect on so many people. Because, like I said, I remember very clearly what that was like, from high school, college, when I was trying to figure out myself of where I was and what I was going to be and who I was going to be and what I wanted to look like. And, I got lucky. I feel like I kind of went into this weird sort of cocoon where I knew no one, and then got to sort of, I kind of had that whole like Captain America experience. I mean, really. Back from Japan, and I was like this different person it's weird. And I would say this just because I bumped into this a couple times. So if you are getting into D&D Fitness, your first time doing things, and you are starting to change, there's a mental piece that goes along with that.
Right.
And it can be very a cognitive dissonance that comes. I bumped into this with some of my friends who I've trained and who have really changed a lot. One of my friends looked in the mirror and was very concerned because he had been bullied, had been very skinny for so much of his life, started looking close, by equal. In fact, you've probably seen pictures of him, Shaggy Peppers out there.
I have,
yep. When he was first starting to work out and really starting to gain mass and looking different, he almost completely stopped. He was like,
it scared him.
It scared him. He was like, I would be intimidated by the person I now see in the mirror.
And that was probably something because of those, it may have looked like people in the past.
Yeah, who had intimidated him and who he felt uncomfortable around. And he's like, I don't want to be that person. And I had to sort of be like, there was almost a therapy that happened of us working through do you think of me that way? And he's like, well, of course not. And I'm like, so, it's the weird almost reverse of the don't judge a book. I think I've said it many times on D&D Fitness, you're always going to have some gym bros who are going to be gym bros.
Yep.
Usually the big guys that you see there, first thing, are usually some of the nicest.
Most gentle bears ever.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely would, they see you're in there and are working and trying and that sort of stuff, don't, interrupt them in the middle of the set, but often, they will be there and help you out. I mean, I learned by literally one of the guys who's like on World's Strongest Man. When I came back from Japan, where I sort of decided that I wanted to keep on doing this, taught me, because I was kind of just working out in a hotel gym with the gym proctor who was there, not really a trainer. And so a lot of form things and stuff like that. But I mean, literally, it's a guy who was in the World's Strongest Man. Like on TV, like with these Atlas ball things, like picking them up and giant guy. And when he saw me in there and I was going every day because I'd gotten used to it, and he was just like, let me help you out here. You're doing great, but let me help you out here. Just there's some things you need to correct. And I mean, to this day, we're now 20 years later, I still see him, his knees are shot, but, he's still, again, lifestyle. He's like, he still comes, he still works out. He's at a different phase of where he was from when he was the World's Strongest Man. But, a friend 20 years later, and hopefully, I'm 47, I'm hoping that, he's about 10 years older than me. When I'm 57, that I'm still at the gym, different phase of my life and different phase of my fitness, but
bring in somebody else.
Bring in someone else. So
excellent.
All of these people, all my D&D Fitness folks.
Right. Well, we're going to start wrapping up. Is there anything else about D&D Fitness or about your channel that you would like to plug before we sign off?
I would just say, let us hear who you are. Tell us that you saw us on here and start posting your story with that hashtag D&D Fitness. If you want to find me, I also am a DM on a channel that I run 100% for charity on Saturdays, Tallsquall channel on Twitch. You can also find me with my good friend Bird vs. Plane, doing Wait a Sec Dude on his channel. And then got to plug the Scraticus Academy. They are wonderful, truly a incredible positive face for the community, safe gaming space for new players to learn how to play. And you can find me there on Monday nights on Doors of Genera.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming. And thank you guys for tuning in. This was Nerd Out. And like Tallsquall said, don't forget, you're not alone. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to follow Variant Roles on Twitter at Variant Roles and myself at Crit Charisma for updates and sneak peeks of coming episodes. Join us next week, October 22nd, at the same time, 7 p.m. Eastern, as I sit down with Matthew Foreman to discuss mental health journeys and post-con blues. And finally, don't go too far as Velvet Soiree begins at 8 p.m. See you next week.